Shalini are here yet again, and today we'll be discussing what is a freedom to operate search. Hi Shalini, how are you doing?
Hi, Priggya. I am just back from a workout, so hot and sweaty, but there's no way I'd miss this evening chat of ours. So here I am. I hope everyone is doing well, and I hope you had a good Tuesday.
Yes, definitely. So I had a very good Tuesday. I hope everyone is doing well too. And let's dive into the topic.
Yes.
Opening
Opening
remarks.
remarks. You got it. Freedom to operate is exactly what it sounds like. It is an opinion on whether you have the freedom to operate your business. So it has to come from a qualified intellectual property attorney, and it basically tells you whether your whatever commercial project, whether product or process, whether it can be made, used, sold, or offered for sale, all the things that come under rights to patent, without infringing or without treading on someone else's toes or someone else's rights. So that, in short, is your freedom to operate. Okay, bye.
Yes. So, y- so as you said, and as the title suggests, it's freedom to operate, whether you have freedom to operate in the market or not. So, Shalini, if I'm correct, it is also called as infringement analysis or clearance search, and it has a number of synonyms.
Yes,
But the idea is to let the product owner know whether he is infringing anybody else's intellectual property or not, whether he is free to operate his product without any fear in a specific market.
right,
And I think I said specific market because patent rights are jurisdictional in
right,
nature, and there
absolutely.
might be a possibility that one product is free to operate in US but not free to operate in India, or vice versa.
Right. And I think it's important to also note that there is no legal obligation or requirement to obtain an FTO opinion, but
Yeah,
it's always better to err on the side of caution. If you're entering a new market with a product, it's always recommended to do an FTO.
correct. So, Shalini, I think sometimes people do confuse freedom to operate search with the patentability search, or they even feel like if we have a patent on the product, we are free to operate that product. But we have seen scenarios where people have a patent on a particular product, but they are not free to operate that product because that product also has several other components in it which might be infringing on someone else's patent. So do you think like if I hold a product then also freedom to operate search is necessary?
Yes, because if the process to make that product is patented in some form, then you should conduct a freedom to operate. So you should conduct a freedom to operate search on every element of that product, as
Correct.
well as on the process that, I mean, unless it's a very known process that's this, then you don't need to obviously. But if there's something that you know is relatively new, it's better to conduct a search.
Correct. And I think we need to clarify like when is a FTO done and when is a patentability search done. So for example, if I want to check whether I can get a patent on something or not, I'll go for a patentability search. But when I'm launching my product in a specific market in a particular jurisdiction, at that point I'll do a freedom to operate search.
Correct. Right. So absolute beginning, then you should do a patentability. If you're launching something that is already patented or is around and in a new market, then you should do an FTO search. Because um, so I'm going back to where I said that there is no legal requirement to obtain an FTO opinion before you launch your product, but it is beneficial um, as a as a preventive mechanism to protect yourself against unwanted litigation, against infringement suits, and by minimizing these potential infringement suits, right? You are protecting your company. But so what is a way out? So tell me, if my product is patented and the process or some component of it is not, someone else holds the patent to that. What is a way around it?
Either innovate and don't infringe, or go to the person who holds the patent and ask him for a license,
Right.
and then
And
share the royalty based on whatever element he is contributing in your product.
right. So, or you can also do a patent pooling kind of thing, right?
Correct. So, Shalini, interesting case law. I think it happened very recently. It's an issue of discussion. Like if I am using certain technology in my mobile phone, for example, the chip is of some other company and the mobile phone is mine. So, should I give the royalty rate based on the chip or based on the mobile phone?
Mm.
So these kinds of queries are coming up, like how to decide, like they have contributed only the chip, not the mobile phone, fundamentally. So the
Yes,
royalty rate should be fixed on the price of the chip and not the mobile phone.
not the
Or
mobile phone.
the rate should be fixed based on mobile phone or and not on the chip.
I don't know. I'm actually in the middle of an FTO opinion right now as we speak,
Wow.
last week and this week. And I think the best place to look for presence of the technology before the patent that we are trying to sometimes it is also about circumventing a patent, right?
Correct.
And I think a better way than to look for other patents is to look for scientific publications. So I
Yeah.
always go for the scientific publications because if the science explains it first, and usually it does,
Yes.
then I can even, then I can go ahead with it. And if that patent holder comes up to me and says, hey, you know what, you're doing this, I can always stand up and say, you know what, you
Or,
infringed this. Yeah,
or we can say your patent might get invalidated because of this.
invalidated because of this journal publication. So I
I
always
love,
look for.
yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
I was saying I love the way this validity and invalidity tussle works every time. So one will say that your patent is infringing mine, and we'll say your patent is invalid.
Yes. I think so. What goes into how do we go about getting an FTO opinion?
So it is a kind. So basically, FTO opinion. We have a product, then we, as you said, we do it element by element, and we check whether each element is infringing someone else's patent or not, and then we do product to claim mapping,
Hmm.
and we check whether our product elements of someone else's patent has all the elements in our product or not. The independent claim, basically.
Right.
So if the independent claim has all the elements of our product, then we are definitely infringing their patent.
Yeah. Correct. So generally, what does an FTO analysis a report contain? We are
So
going to patents and published applications.
it contains details of the mapping as well, like the product to claim mapping. Like
Okay.
how, if we are infringing, how we are infringing it.
Right. Now, is it necessary that all the elements of our product have to be present uh, in the other in the existing patent or vice versa?
So if we are infringing on someone else's patent, then their independent claim should map to our product. But if a combination of patents are leading to our product, then it cannot be infringement, because all elements are not there in one patent application. So we need to check whether independent claim of one single patent application includes the
All the components.
our product or not. And another thing, it just came to my mind, but it slipped. I'll get back to it later.
Okay, so I think along with your regular patents, do you also search for designs, existing designs, because
Correct, correct, correct.
of how the product looks?
Yeah, and I remember the point I missed. So I missed saying that we need to check whether that patent in itself is a valid patent or not. If it is an expired patent, then we are not infringing on anybody's rights. So we
Correct.
need to check whether the that patent in itself is a valid patent or not.
Right. Now, what happens if we do find that one patent that maps to our product?
Then we either innovate or we ask
Yeah,
for
you told me that, but
and
innovation costs are high and they are refusing to work with us.
then
So
then
we'll have to drop that idea of launching that product.
yeah, probably, but it depends. Like we in few countries like India, if it is a product which is very necessary, we have an option of compulsory license. We, if it is a standard, then we can go to a standard setting organization. If it is again competition law, if it is a barrier to competition and it is using its dominant position, we can go to Competition Commission of India. But it depends, like to what extent we really require the launch of the product.
Okay. Can I do an FTO analysis on my own without a attorney?
See, the answer to it is yes, and the answer to it is no, because if you want to do it, you can do it. There is no harm, but the exact product to patent mapping is something which is an art. Like someone who is practicing it from years would be able to just, from the eye know whether that patent could be a barrier or not. But as inventors, if they do, they probably spend a lot of time reading, I should not say it, but the parts of the patent application which may not be required, and sometimes there are certain parts in the patent application on which we need to focus on.
Yes.
So if they take 100 hours, we might take 10 hours. If they take 1,000 hours, we might take 100 hours. And with a better kind of efficient report.
Right.
So,
So also I
Shalin,
think, yeah,
yeah, you complete, then I'll ask.
I was going to say that even if I get my FTO opinion drafted by the most skillful patent attorney in town, I would like to say it's never, you cannot be 100% certain that you have FTO. There's always that little gray.
Correct. Absolutely. But you'll know the chances, like what are the chances,
Yes,
90%, 80%, 70%. What are the kind of chances? I think based on those chances, sometimes when we are making big investments, it's absolutely necessary to check.
yes.
So, Shalini, just to give certain idea to our viewers, like you are currently working on an FTO, how much time does it usually take? Because this is an intensive task. First, we need to find out the patent application, then we need to do the mapping. So it takes time. So, average, what kind of amount of time is required?
It actually depends on the intensity of the technology. So currently, I'm not done yet. I'm 2 weeks into it, and I'm nowhere close to being done. Typically, it takes me about a month, month and a half. I'm not working full time on it. It's just one of the tasks I'm doing. So a lot of back and forth goes on between the inventor and me. And I'm teaching them how to identify which parts of the patent application to read, how to look for journal articles, how to identify the crucial part in the journal and look for the date and so on and so forth, identify the patent family groups and so on. Especially if we want an FTO opinion for multiple jurisdictions, it takes me about a month and a half or two.
Hmm. Yeah, so that is the amount of time it is required. So sometimes people do ask like, why do you take so much money for an FTO search? So it is because that much time and skills are required to do an FTO.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I always say that FTO is not, not an easy task. Like just it's not like that. We need to analyze the patent one by one, map it to the product, check whether that product is infringing the patent or not. So if I have to, stepwise see, first thing is find the closest patent application. So finding those applications in itself is a task, and then mapping is another task, and based on those mapping, giving an opinion is another task.
Right. So you're actually doing three things in
Yeah.
one. But it's also, I think I find it harder than patent drafting a patent application because in a patent application I can be largely certain about the area of technology and my survival rate. But with an FTO, there is always a little chance of the
Correct.
opinion not being fully uh, fully there.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's why we always give a disclaimer with every search report. Yeah. So, Shalini,
So
we'll wind up the session.
okay, so
Or you want to take, if you have any other question, you may please.
no, I think we should revisit this when I'm done with my FTO analysis so that if I have any further insights that come to mind upon finishing it. I think uh, so. I think I might come back with some more comments once I'm done with the exercise.
So we have a question: is there a global FTO or FTO need to be considered country-wise? So Yuvraj, I just took that question 5 minutes ago, I guess. Patent rights are jurisdictional in nature, so we need to see in every country, like wherever you launch your product. You don't have to do it in every country. Wherever you think your market is and you want to launch your product in that country FTO is required.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely. So no global patent, so therefore no global FTO.
Yeah.
Right. So closing remarks. Are you going or you want me to go?
You will go.
Okay.
You begin the session, close down the
At the
session.
beginning and ending. Okay. You make me feel like those book ends. Okay, so things that you want to remember about FTO, freedom to operate analysis. Consider organizing this search and analysis at an early stage of development. Don't have a fully prepared product and then start looking, because if there is a product that already exists, you're in trouble. Uh, think about, speak to your patent attorney and think about the level of certainty and the cost it is going to take you to take your product to the market. That is why I say start early. Uh, Start with your key competitors. We always start with two or three of our key competitors that we know in our area when we are searching, and uh, start with that, like a stepping stone, and from there you go on to larger. Uh,
Correct.
it's highly likely that you'll find it in your backyard. And don't go for global, go for key markets. Don't burden yourself financially with going in for FTO in every country or every country that you think is exotic. Uh, understand if a patent is pending or not, and what is the possibility of it being granted, and take a call accordingly. And finally, speak to a professional. It'll get done faster.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shalini, for winding up so well. And we'll be here next week again with another topic related to patents or intellectual property. And I'll be glad if you all can join us back. Thank you. Have a great week.
Thank you.